respite centre for disabled children in West Heath, and the council are we're going through a consultation period at the moment because the council are proposing to shut down the centre. My son's been going there since he was 7 years old, and I thought to get my son into there because I realised early on that I needed to make my son as independent as possible, because I'm going to die one day and my son's going to be left here down and I'm going to have to, whether I like it or not, rely on other people to look after my son and look out for him. And I realised that the more independent he is, the easier that's going to be for him, the better life he's going to get. So I thought to get him into somewhere like Charles House. And thank God that I did get him in there, because in the 7 years that he's been there, he can speak, he can toilet himself, he can enjoy life, he can do so many things because of that place, and the school that he goes to as well. The younger, the sooner you can get intervention for your child, they only get one shot. The sooner you get intervention for a child that's got a disability, my son's autistic and he's got mild learning disabilities, the better the shot they get, the better the chances there are. The council want to take this away. It's minuscule, the cost is minuscule compared to, you know, the families that could break down without this kind of service. It stops that from happening. There will be a cost. If you take this away, there will be a cost. They're not going to get off scot-free. Give them a chance. It's not just about taking them away from the parents and giving us a break. It's a chance for them. It's a part of the one shot that they've got. And it's so important. I've got a stock and stand up. He hasn't. I've got to stand up for him. And it's just madness, absolute madness, that they're going to do this, because there'll be a cost to all of us. It's the society we want that all looks after, we all look after each other. You know, and we're not going in that direction, are we?
Mary, and then Stuart, and then we'll come back to take some more contributions.
I'm Mary Pearson. I'm the Vice President of Birmingham Trade Union Council. I'm a member of the NUC. I was watching Cameron on the news before he came out. I have to take tablets for blood pressure, but I'm sure they're no good when he's on the television. But he's doing all this heart bleeding about kids missing a day's school. And you know, how dare he? As Brother Morgan said, they were quite happy to give us a day off for a royal wedding. But the point is, his colleagues in this Lib Dem council have cut the education budget so much in special needs, behaviour support, all of the childhood and adolescent mental health service, all the services that support the most vulnerable. So don't, you know, this bleeding heart of a day doesn't ring true at all. But the other thing I want to mention, and it was a brother of the GMB who said it at our last Trade Council meeting, which I always remember sort of feeling really annoyed, and I couldn't find a proper answer, when Cameron gets up and says, why should poorer paid public sector workers pay the high pensions, private sector workers pay the high pensions of the public sector? Well, this brother came to the Trade Council. I've got a senior moment, I can't remember his name. He organises the school support workers for the GMB. And he said, every time we go to Sainsbury's, people buy cars, people buy any products at all, we are paying towards the pensions of the private sector workers. It's just that the bosses of the private sector don't even encourage a pension scheme. So, you know, don't let's feel guilty about that sort of thing, those of us in the public sector, because if private sector are not getting decent pensions, it's not our fault, it's the fault of the employers and the bosses, and they're Tory worshippers. And the other thing I am getting really higher blood pressure about is the mantra of Cameron and his cronies saying, oh, the private sector will pick up all these jobs that are going because of public sector. But where? It was announced in this city that the unemployment level amongst young people between 16 and 24 is so astronomical. I can't remember the exact figures. We've got a daughter who is 28 and therefore doesn't come into those figures, who's got 2 degrees and still can't get a job, and had her money cut from the dole because she actually had the cheek to go and get a 3-day course, which they said, well, the hours at the college weren't full-time, but with the homework she'd have to do, it would be classed as full-time. So, and they're still arguing that she owes them £800. This is what's happening. What chance is there for you? We've got to fight this for our young people coming up. It's pensions for us old golden oldies, but it's also about the future for our young people.
I'm Stuart Richardson, a member of the National Union of Teachers, activist in the Birmingham Against the Cuts and Board of Social Resistance. Birmingham Against the Cuts doesn't just hold meetings. We've had 4 successful meetings of around 100 in size. We've been actually actively intervening in the debate on the city in the recent couple of months, and this will say something about that. And this is very important because there's going to be further meetings where the council, in a completely fraudulent way, of course, consults people. But there have been 8 meetings, and they're not insignificant. The smallest one, I think, was in Newtown, with about 20, but it was 80 people, an animated meeting in Kingsheath, discussing the city budget. And in 4 of those meetings, activists in the Birmingham Against the Cuts went along with 2 resolutions. One of the resolutions said, we reject all the cuts being proposed in the budget for next year, that's 65 million. And secondly, we call for the restoration of all the cuts implemented this year, including up to £5,000 pay cuts. Some workers in this city are present on about £20,000 a year are being just a pay cut just like that for £15,000. That's never been done since the 1930s, beginning of the 1930s. And we also put in a more populist theme, saying that the establishment press say we're all in it together. If we're all in it together, then for every 10% cut in the city council budget, the leader of the council and all the councillors and the chief executive should have a 10% cut in their allowances and pay. At every meeting, that was passed unanimously, that position. At other meetings, there was small opposition. There was, I think, in some cultures, there were 3 against the no-cut position. I think there was a similar number in Kingsheath. But in general, the vast majority of people, when they're consulted, oppose all these cuts. And I think that's absolutely important. And there's going to be a new round of consultations on adult social care, libraries, that we can do the same thing. But I think that we also have to say to the prospect of a Labour Council, they seem to be very confident that they're going to be re-elected. The very minimum we should ask, the absolute minimum, is that these massive pay cuts in low-paid workers to be reinstated. Now, unfortunately, I was a Kingsheath meeting with the chair with that, and I said that, and I said, oh, this is madness. Man, also an ex-councillor, saying that, it's just Trotskyism, this is just conflict. If the Labour Party can, financed by the union, protect its members' pay. Just finishing, Chair. They say there's no money. There's a poster, cut for not welfare. £4.5 billion is being spent, and British lives are being wasted in Afghanistan today. We should be opposing that as well. Lastly, unfortunately, we have no student at this meeting, which is a great tragedy, given no student speaker arranged to actually speak. Unfortunately, one of the persons who's on the leaflet was unfortunately moved in a rather bizarre using the heritage stereotype. So I think we've got to get more unity and more action in the lab and actually start uniting and actually fighting these cuts. But this meeting is a great start to that.
Thanks, Stuart.